Now look close. Is there anything missing from this picture?
Yes, there is something.
What's missing, young
Play
sir?
structure.
The what?
Play structure.
The play structure. Okay, that's probably a good point. It might be, but
Priorities.
specifically, what's over the staff lot in the back here? Yes.
It's new.
It is new.
And it provides shade for a whole bunch of cars.
It
The
does.
solar panels.
Yeah, and it also is a solar array. Very good. And that is actually, it should be like right back here, so we can see the parking lot right there. This is Sunnyside. Yeah, well done. Sunnyside solar installation we just brought online this past year too, down by Sunnyside Elementary School, south on 550. So this is almost a 2 megawatt system. That makes a bunch of electricity compared to what we have here.
Is that a solar farm?
It is. It's basically a solar farm. So maybe one of those rows right here would be what's covering the parking lot out back here. Okay, to give you an idea. Yeah. So now here, oh boy, a little bit of math.
Ooh, that's
Yes, oh, I like to see the excitement. That is great. So we have two graphs. What this is actually meter data for your school, okay? So all the blue bars are energy like these lights are using. Maybe people are cooking in the cafeteria, you're running computers in your computer lab. Everything's
TV.
plugged in. The TV, exactly. Blue bars right there, turning that meter one way. The green is turning the meter the other way. Why would it go the other way? What do you think that green power is coming from? Yeah.
like power being put back in.
Exactly.
Or like the solar panels.
Very good, from the solar panels out back. So now here is you're gonna have to work as a team here, and you can vote. Don't just blurt out. Graph A and Graph B. One of these is from a weekend day, a Sunday to be specific, and the other is from a Monday. What's the big difference between Sunday and Monday here at school?
Well,
Yeah.
one day is school, one day is not.
Right. So who's here on Sunday?
No one. No.
Hopefully no one, maybe a few people, but not 100 or however many people here,
There
right? So now,
445 kids.
that many, yes. So now think about which is which. Talk to each other. Think about it. In 15 seconds, we'll take a vote.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And Graph B is Monday because the Sunday, like all the power is still being produced
What do you-
in time, and then Graph B is.
Which one do you think Sunday?
But maybe
I
not
think
day
Sunday
or
is
something.
the one
So it's not exactly.
With lesbians too.
And then also there's more activity.
And
I know
5,
there's not that much like
4,
I think Saturday.
3,
Sunday.
2,
Sunday and Monday.
1. Who thinks that this top graph, Graph A, is Monday? Raise your hand. Who thinks that that is Monday? Nobody? Really? You sure?
Yeah.
Who thinks that's Monday? Okay, who wants to explain why? Yes, young sir over here.
Well, I think since there's more kids at the school,
Yeah.
they use more power.
Really?
Or like no.
Good job. Yeah. Go ahead.
Maybe it's that the cafeteria makes some food and uses the power for
Yep.
the kids.
That's a very good comment. Yeah. Yeah. What do you have to add?
Also, I think maybe on that Monday it might have been more shaded because I feel like the electricity, the green would be produced the same amount, despite the fact that like it would been still producing the same amount. It's just the other graph of the blue would be higher.
Yeah.
But, who
Yeah.
knows, maybe that's just how it works that time.
No, that's a very good observation there too. Yeah. Something you want to add?
I think it's because there's a lot of trash on those days, because I know a lot of people don't really like the food on Mondays.
Yeah.
That could be a
You know,
part of it, for sure.
Yeah, sadly,
I like Mondays 'cause
all that
it's
energy
actually-
into that food production ends up in the trash. That's unfortunate, isn't it?
Actually, they have a thing where you have to jump to train for chickens.
Oh, okay.
To get the chickens.
That's-
All right, we're talking electricity, so we're
Yep.
going to get back to
So,
electricity. We
Mr.
don't want
Alex,
to be
why
late.
don't you, comment on why we see these green bars being a little bit smaller than up here?
Right,
On
so-
that. Yeah.
So these green bars are gonna be a little bit smaller, right? Because we're using a lot of this energy, right? So we're still using this much energy in the day, but you see how this bar kind of cuts off this thing? So that's why the reason these things are a little bit smaller, because we're still using energy in the school. So the solar panels are feeding what we need to use in the school, right? And then the excess is going back onto our grid, okay? Does that make sense?
So we use that solar panel energy here first. okay? So if all you kids are here using all this energy, that's why those green bars are smaller, because you're not here on a Sunday using them. So this is going back into this thing we're calling the grid, okay? Okay, cool, yeah, awesome. Let's take a look here. Now, here are 4 different ways that electricity is produced in our region. We have solar panels, kind of like we have back here. Maybe some of you might have them on your roof. We see them around town. We showed you the beginning. Hang on real quick, okay? With the solar farm too. There's a handful of folks in the area that have windmills. The largest wind farm is probably Monticello, Utah. If any of you ever go to Moab, you probably see the big windmills turning over there.
You're
What's
here
that?
till 4.
Yeah.
You're here till 4. You
Um,
can stay. You can
Traditionally, we are burning
But you gotta
stuff
stay in here.
to make electricity.
Thanks,
Okay, and that's
Jerry.
where our fossil fuels, yeah, whether that be coal, natural gas, I mean wood, oil, all kinds of different things. This is traditionally how we've always made power. We also have some, not at this scale, but we have some hydroelectric power, like the Tacoma power plant up on the Animas River. We also have Vicedo. They're very small compared to this. You would see a dam hydropower plant kind of like this on the Colorado River.
My
Okay.
dad has put one of those in at my grandma's.
I
Yeah,
want to
a small
explain
one.
which ones are the best
I've got
for here.
I've got
Hold
a
on.
shut up higher from that, like the exact same thing as that, not smaller. It's a little bit bigger. But how that is we control it from our shed. A little shed up there.
I think we're gonna take a field trip to Creed's house.
Oh man. That's
So
a good
guys,
time.
can we
2 hours
Yep.
away.
can we hang on? I don't know if you can, but try to hang on to your questions till
Yep.
the end because they have so much they want
Yeah,
to
and we
tell
can,
us.
and we can come back to this slide
Yes,
too, if
we can
if
come back
we
to
want to
all
talk
of
about
it.
it, because there's some
Remind
really
me
good
to come
stuff.
back to this slide.
I know you want to talk about pros and cons of each, and I would love to as well, and we could talk about that till we're blue in the face. But what I want you to see here is, first of all,
Hang on to it.
3 of the 4 are spinning what is called a turbine hooked up to a generator, okay? Does anybody have a birthday this month? Anybody have a February birthday?
Let's see, when's
My
the
dad.
dad?
How about a March birthday?
Mine's May.
I got a March birthday.
Oh, maybe
Good.
Alex can do
All right,
it.
Alex.
Okay, so we have a miniature generator right here. So Alex, go ahead and show us what's going on here at a very small scale. So
Come see, guys.
yeah, come on
Let's go
up.
see.
And we can have you guys try
None of
this
those
too.
use power house except you use your bike.
Yep, so basically he's spinning magnets on an armature inside of the coiled wire there, and it creates an electromagnetic current and flows through the light bulb, making power.
Nice.
So on a very, very, very large scale, if we were to take this thing and blow it up millions of
I'll try.
times, we could actually generate enough power to generate a
Power a city.
neighborhood or a city, yeah. That's why we have to either have very large solar farms or hydro dams, or burn an awful lot of fossil fuels to be able to generate the electricity we need,
I
okay?
think the worst one for the Earth is probably fossil fuels.
Yeah, why is that?
Because it's releasing gas.
What's that?
I think the fossil fuels is the worst.
Okay, that's a good observation. Now, let me ask you this, at the same time, what happens when the sun doesn't shine? Will the solar panels give us power?
The sun doesn't shine.
What happens when the wind doesn't blow? Will windmills give us power?
No.
What happens if we run out of water to flow through there? Will we get power from that?
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, we are in a kind of a dry spell anyway, but that's a different conversation. But the point is, the reason why we've relied on this so much is, can we rely on this in the middle of the night? When the wind isn't blowing, the sun's not shining, the water's not flowing? Yes, we can. So we have to figure out a way to still balance our use of this with cleaner forms of energy. And I think you all probably have a pretty good idea of what is cleaner up here. Now, keep in
All right,
mind,
let's sit down, guys.
yep, have a
Sit
seat.
back
We can
down.
play with that a little bit more here in a second, but so basically the majority of our
It's your
power
treat. Go sit back down.
flows through all these wires and all this thing we're calling the grid, and it comes from these different power sources, okay? Most of the time turning a very large generator, just like you all got a chance to turn right there. But on the scale that is just really hard to imagine. I mean, talking about massive, massive power plants, okay, to be able to power cities, yeah, and so on and so forth, okay? So now, here's, yeah, like even bigger. So here's what we call the grid. All of those power plants are dumping into this spaghetti framework, there's the lower 48 of the country, right? All those colored lines are major transmission lines. Really, really, really big wires, okay? And what makes it even more complicated is in just the lower 48, we're actually segregated into 3 different regions where the grid doesn't really connect. If you remember, I don't know, anybody have any relatives in Texas a couple of years ago that dealt with power outages? Anybody hear about those maybe?
I heard about
I've got cousins who
But
My
and then-
parents.
yeah, okay. See, case in point, and that is why, because Texas is kind of on their own when it comes to the grid. Okay. Now here, this is probably before any of you were born. In fact, I'm sure it was. I remember this because I was in college at the time. But yeah, there was a massive blackout. There was a big problem in one part of the grid, and it had this ripple effect. This is at night from space. So see how all the lights are turned out? Basically, that entire part of the country. Okay, so there was a massive blackout that caused all kinds of issues there. So just imagine how hard it is to try and keep track of all this stuff. And it gets more complicated than that. That's just the bird's eye view of the country. Then we get to how these things flow through the massive transmission lines. There's these things called transformers, which change the electricity, step it up, step it down, so we can send it over long distances to maybe all the way across the desert to the next town or city, okay? And then we have them go into substations, which are like these hubs, and everything can kind of go out from there. Then we finally get to the point where it might get to your house. So it comes in on a power line like this. There's even a transformer that looks like a giant can mounted on these power poles. That steps down the voltage enough that it can come into your house through your meter right here. This is how the electric company, some of our colleagues know exactly what to send your parents' bill for how much, okay? How much electricity you use. And that, once again, spins that a certain way. When would that spin the opposite way? Any ideas? Any ideas? Raise hand. Yes. How could you make that meter spin the opposite way of normal?
When it's out of electricity.
Okay, that you're on the right path. When so maybe we're not taking electricity from the power lines, but what here could be maybe sending it that direction. Any ideas? So what would make it? We talked a little bit about it earlier with the green bars on the graph from the school. Any ideas? You want to call on one of your friends to help? It's okay if you don't. Here, we'll get on over here. Yeah, what do you think?
It's when if you're sending electricity to another place.
Right.
If you're like.
How would we do that? We have a hamster on a wheel running that thing?
Not